Hello everybody, Joe Begadones here, welcome back for another episode of Umineko. Sorry if I sound lost in thought like I just was there for a second today. I'm still recovering from my bout of dying from bad Chipotle. So, yeah. Didn't record for 2 days. Yeah, 2 days. This is going up. Well, hopefully this goes up. If this doesn't go up, that's the third day in a row I don't record. Oops. But yeah, 2 days ago, I was like, ooh man, I'm not feeling so hot. And then a couple hours later, very much not feeling so hot. And then yesterday I worked when I was still recovering from trying not to die. And I had no energy to record. And now here I am with just barely enough energy to turn on the microphone and actually try to form coherent thoughts instead of just like fucking tuning out and just like my eyes drifting in different directions and just staring at the wall in my chair for like 7 hours. So, here we are. I've eaten a little. I had a bowl of soup and some crackers. Some really good crackers. They were like garlic flavored. Like not like Lay's chips, but like like kind of like a Ritz, but a little more upscale and not as like buttery. I don't really like Ritz. They're like greasy. I like my crackers dry. Like I can eat like a fucking sleeve of like saltines, like salted saltines, in like one sitting. Who cares? I like dry things. My humors are probably out of balance, that's why. Too much fucking wet bile or whatever. I don't remember all the humors, but that doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah, Anjay is just tuning out, going la 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 la. Timelines, timey-wimey. Ooh, will she save herself, or will she only be able to help other Anjays? Ooh, who knows? Just let her just talk to all her imaginary friends in her head and pretend their life doesn't suck so hard. Let's do that. Oh god, I think that's a little too loud. I saw my waveforms on my microphone jump when she started fucking screeching. I don't want like an echo. Alright, I'll be real. Having fucking these people around when I'm trying to like not die, it's making it a little tricky. I wonder where they swiped it from. They were fighting over a donut or something. Me? Playing around really loudly. This is the one that just fucking blew out my eardrums. Not really. By now, I was used to the fights between the eldest and the 3 eldest sisters. It's a bit funny how they're both a little hesitant, even though they're so quick to anger. They might be surprisingly similar. 賑やかにしていろとの仰せでしたが、これではさすがに。少しボリュームを下げさせますか？気にしないで騒いでてくれていいわ。教室の黄色い笑い声より100倍心地よいもの。エンジ様、早く次のページ。Oh God, you both reading the same book. エンジ様は読むのが遅い。That's annoying. マモンは読書が好きなの？地味なことが一番苦手そうに見えるのにね。マモンが司るのは強欲。知識欲にもそれは通じます。ただし、独占したがるので、本を与えると人に読ませまいと、読書後に焼いてしまうこともあるのでご注意を。Yeah, don't touch the diary. 私は誰も知らないことを私だけが知っているのが好き。誰もできないことを私だけができるのが好き。だから勉強は好き。で、私だけが誰も知らない英知を独り占めしたいから。As Mammon said that, her eyes sparkling, she stared transfixed at the open page, reading through it again. You could see the greed that made her even more intent than me on devouring that page. As you can see, my magical power was now much stronger compared to the first day I summoned them. I was now at the point where I could summon all the 7 Sisters of Purgatory at once and still calmly read a book like this. This place, though I couldn't recall where it was a quiet and calm street-side bench. The reason I couldn't remember the location of this place was that at the time I visited it, I was very young. Still, I remember the day we walked here and how much fun it was. Mom, Dad, even Oni-chan had been there. It was a memory of a very rare and a very happy day when all the family had actually been together. The people walking by every once in a while weren't noticing me. They were just pleasantly ignoring me and passing by as normal. I wasn't even the slightest bit embarrassed by the Seven Sisters' shameless outfits, because it wasn't like they were actually being seen by anyone. In fact, I'd gotten pretty used to them. I know they're corrupting you, just as long as they didn't make me wear one. I was sitting on a stylish bench, memorizing a timeline for world history. In an academy system where everything is based on collective responsibility, there's no tolerance for dunces. It seemed that I was lowering the average grade for the class considerably. According to those extremely intellectual girls, if I alone improved my grade, the average would rise drastically. They'd been kind enough to show me with a graph drawn with colorful pens on on a B4 sheet of drawing paper. Just thinking of the effort it must have taken to draw that was nauseating. But I'd already spat out all those complaints. I'd already used those girls to vent all my furious anger and sadness. The Seven Sisters were sometimes outraged, sometimes compassionate, and sometimes shared in my sorrows. I was truly happy to have friends with whom I could share those emotions. It said that they were originally furniture that existed to carry out Beatrice's cruel sacrificial ritual. That sickening occult message bottle was to be believed. It seemed that several among them had even attacked my family. But I didn't believe that, and it would be pointless to question them about it. They're furniture, so all they do is respond to their master's requests. Even if they really had attacked my family, I couldn't hate them. The one I really hated was the Golden Witch Beatrice. Or else the one at the very center of the Rokenjima Gate on Ava.
エンジ様、早く次のページ。
あ、ごめん。疲れたわ。
Like a good tired?
少し休憩させて。エン
ジ様、休憩だって。
Yes.
遊ぼう遊ぼう。エンジ様、遊ぼう。
When they noticed that I had interrupted my studying, the most energetic youngest sisters gathered around me. And that wasn't all. Even Maria One-chan and Sakutaro showed themselves. They had probably been very close by, but they must have hid themselves so that they didn't interrupt my studying.
ウリュウ、エンジェ、お勉強どう？お勉強どう？やー、サク太郎、元気？ちょっと、私にもモフモフさせて。
What a ladies' man.
早い者勝ちだっていつも言ってるでしょ。ああ、かわいいかわいい。
ウキュー、潰れちゃうよ。
Worse ways to go.
ウリュウ。
七姉妹が揃ってる時に現れたのが運の尽きだ。おとなしくモフモフされてもらおう。もういっつもこんなにしてしまって。愚昧な姉と妹どもが申し訳ありません。
サク太郎もみんなに会えて喜んでるよ。どうエンジェ、お勉強の調子は。
ありがとう。まあそこそこには。ご丁寧にも他のクラスで先にあった小テストのプリントが回してもらえたの。麗しい連帯感に涙が出るわ。とりあえず年表を頭に入れるだけでもまあ多少はマシかしら。
ウリュウ、エンジェお勉強偉い。いっぱい点数取れるよ。ウリュウ。
Oh, I'm sure.
お疲れ様。マリア、お勉強は全然ダメだったから、ちゃんと勉強すれば点数が取れるエンジェが羨ましいよ。
ご冗談を。英語、ラテン語、オカルトの知識。そんなのを丸暗記できてるお姉ちゃんの方がよっぽどすごいわ。
Yeah, well, Latin's not too hard.
マリアは魔法のお勉強は何でも覚えられるけど、つまんないお勉強は何も覚えられない。
I mean, it was like that with most kids.
だからテストでも何も役に立たない。
They get like a fucking encyclopedic knowledge of like the thing they're obsessed in, but ask them to like, I don't know, name the state capitals or whatever, and they just fucking brain turns off.
確かにオカルトの知識はどうかと思うけど、英語なんかは成績に結びつくんじゃない？
小学校1年生の時、国語のテストで鉄砲のイラストの脇に四角が4マスあって、そこに名前を書きなさいって問題があった。
Okay.
ライフルって書いたら×だった。
どうして？
Well, because it was a Japanese test.
合ってるじゃない。
鉄砲が正解だって。
Yeah.
カタカナは小学1年生では習わないからダメだと言われた。
I mean, I guess, but yeah, depending on the teacher, like if I was a teacher, I wouldn't like remove points for that. I would just like put a little asterisk next to it and be like, yes, but no, this is what you were really supposed to do. Like, you weren't wrong, but you weren't right either. Either like half points or whatever.
マリアはよくわからないから、その日以来テストではすべてひらがなで書くようにしたよ。でもなぜかママには怒られる。先生にも怒られる。
Gotta use your kanji.
お姉ちゃんは多分生まれる国を間違えたわ。
ならマリア、魔女の国に生まれて魔法学校に入りたかった。そうしたらもっともっと素敵な魔法の友達がいっぱいいたかもね。
Yep, and then you wouldn't have fucking got murdered.
でも別に今は何も気にしてないよ。だって魔法はいっぱい使えるし、魔法のお友達もたくさんいる。
Yeah, dead kids don't gotta go to school. This is great.
マリアにはサク太郎がいれば十分だもの。僕だけじゃないよ。サクスケもサク吉も動物の音楽隊もアザラシの下田くんもウサギの
There's a
サナエ
lot.
さんも小豚のピゴーくんも他にもいっぱい。
Incredible. One-chan's friends just keep increasing in number. Every time I ask, the list of her friends' names grows longer. But there's no doubt that Sakutaro was her best friend. I'm a little jealous of her for having such a close friend.
どう？七姉妹は仲良くやれてる？
本当に賑やかな姉
Very
妹たちよ。
lively. Yeah, energetic is a good word to
たま
use.
に物騒なことを言い出すけど悪くないわ。本当はサク太郎みたいな可愛い子が良かったんだけど、
Is a good way to describe them.
もっと私の原初の魔法を学んだなら、きっとエンジェの好みの友達を生み出せるようにもなるよ。今のエンジェに想像はまだちょっと難しいね。
想像と召喚は違う。そして半分もまた違う。
お、やっぱり一番の願いは家族を蘇らせること？
うん。よりしろは持ってるよ。これ。
そうだね。その髪飾りならいつかきっとバトラを呼び出す鍵になるよ。あとはエンジェの修行次第だね。
それがいつまでかかるのかわからないのが泣けるけれども。
ウリュウ、辛くてもしっかりエンジェが諦めなければ絶対にいつか叶うよ。
Yeah, you know, someday.
絶対に叶うという保証を誰か
But it
がく
hurts
れ
not
た
having
な
a
ら、
timetable.
きっと心も休まるでしょうにね。
ウリュウ、なら僕が保証する。エンジェはいつかきっと必ず願いを叶えられるよ。
ありがとう。
Oh, and Sakutaro would never lie, would he?
気休めでも嬉しいわ。
気休めじゃないよ、ウリュウ。ダメだよエンジェ。そういう感情は半魔法の毒素になるよ。
You're thinking too hard.
夢は必ず叶うって気持ちが一番よく芽吹く魔力の種なんだよ。
そうね。ごめんなさい、お師匠様。
エンジ様は
You can have no
少し
doubts.
強欲さが足りないのよ。欲しいもののためにはどこまでも。手に入れるまで絶対に諦めないという根性が足りない。ウリュウ、そんなことないよ。エンジェは頑張ってるよ。
No, she's too logical. She, like, has considerations for other people and stuff.
ありがとう。
Well,
さくた
you
ら
know,
マモ
not really the people at our school, but you know, in general.
泣き言なんて何の足しにもならないもんね。私にはただ頑張るしか道はないのよ。努力するわ。歯を食いしばってね。そして必
Don't
ず
do that
夢
too
を
hard though.
叶え
You'll
るわ。
like wear down your enamel and have to get like caps.
絶対に。
ウリュウ、エンジェ偉いよ。頑張ろう。僕もママも応援する。ええ、応援します。主が強欲であればあるほど、私たちの価値も上がるというもの。それよりエンジ様、せっかく10人も集まったんだし。
What, you gonna play fucking... What do you need 10 people for? Is that baseball or soccer?
みんなでしりとりでもして遊ぼうって提案がありまして。
Shiratori, that's the word game, yeah? Where you have to take the last syllable and then say another word, but it's like if you end a word with N, you lose because there's no way to start a word that begins with just N. I think. Shiratori is a Japanese word game. Players take turns in saying a word, and each word must begin with the last Japanese character of the previous word, forming a chain. Only nouns are allowed, and accidentally saying a word that ends with the character N, loses you the game because no Japanese words begin with N. A word like ninja, for example, begins with ni, not N. The exact rules for what is allowed and what exactly constitutes the last character often varies and needs to be clarified. House rules.
負けたら罰ゲーム。私に耳をかじらせて。
もう、あんたの頭には食欲以外ないの？愚昧どもの愚かな提案をお許しください。そろそろ勉強に戻られなくても大丈夫ですか？
Yeah, you need to take breaks from studying every now and again, otherwise you just start like not absorbing any of the information. It just fucking washes right over your
待ってた
brain.
のに遊んでもらえないなんてやだ。悪くない提案と思います。たまには遊ぶのも頭の良い柔軟になるかと。
ベルフェが司るのは怠惰だっけ？もっともらしいことを言ってるけど、
I'll
う
work
まい
no
ことを言
play
ってる
and
わ
all that.
ね。
失礼しました。エンジェ様は勤勉でおられる。
エンジェさえ良ければ、私もみんなと遊びたいな。みんなでワイワイ。きっと楽しい。風流。エンジェ、遊ぼう遊ぼう。みんなでしりとりをやろう。
Just don't let anyone, you know, see you playing word games by yourself.
では、サク太郎のウリュウからスタートで、この場合何からになるの
You?
リュ
Oh, where's the syllable break?
ウリュウからなんだろうね。
It would probably be Ryu then?
やっぱりリュウ
Yeah.
こんなおかしな語尾の単語が出てくるなんてめったにないし。
じゃあ私が一番。リュウから行くね。時計のネジのリュウズ。
私が一番に言いたかったのに、リュウトの方が素敵。
なんだかさっきから難しいのばっかりね。
Yeah,
というか
not starting off
順番どうなってるの？
no, with the common ones.
次は誰？
ウリュウ、誰でもいいと思うよ。思いついた人順でいいよ。何それ、面白いね。いっぱい言えた人が勝ち？早口しりとりだね。じゃあ私行くね。ズッキーニ、ニンニク炒め、ペカブのパスタ。どれも美味しそう。
Can you use like fucking combination words like that?
3つも言っちゃった。
ベルゼ3点獲得と。接続詞はありな
Yeah,
の
this ain't
か。
German. You can't just fucking mush things together.
のがありになったら何でもありになっちゃうわ。最後のはダメよ。1点減点。目からよ。
じゃあマリアね。メレンゲ。
Cool. I don't know what that is.
ウリュウ。
下水道、埋め立て地、地下室。ざっとこんな感じ？
Sure, why not?
お姉様、なんだか品のない単語ばっかり。何よ。じゃあ品のいい単語で続けてみなさいよ。とにかく私3点ね。次は強
Yep, doesn't matter. Win's a win.
こんな変 なしりとり初めて。面白い。
Doesn't help that there's only like fucking 2 brain cells split between the 10 of you.
全然わかんないけど面白い。うりゃ
I'd played normal Shiratori before, but this kind of weird Shiratori was a new experience for me. The 7 sisters, who would be lively enough just on their own, Ryone-chan, Sakutaro, and me. I was now surrounded by friends that were just so fun. The courage to accept a world of magic, a world of witches. That alone wouldn't change the fact that I was locked up in an academy, without a single friend in my class. But I was having such a fun merry time regardless. I'll become a witch like Ryone-chan. And someday, I'll add my family to this happy circle. Mom, Dad, and Oni-chan. If possible, George Oni-chan and Jessica Oni-chan too. And my other relatives. I'll call everyone here without a single person missing, and we'll all be gathered together.
それが私の夢。そうよ。私はそれを叶えるまで絶対にくじけない。
園児様はきっと大魔女になられます。
Well, easier said than done.
あなたがそうだと信じるだけで。
Life comes at you fast and hard.
我ら煉獄の七姉妹はその日まで常におそばにお仕えするでしょう。
いてくれる？いつまでも私の力になってくれる？
Well, they're under contract, ain't they?
当然。だって私園児様の友達じゃないですか。
ええ、そうね。常に全員揃ってみんなで遊びましょう。今もこれからもずっとずっと。
Sounds a little too good to be true.
夢を叶えられる日まで。
The lively 10-person game of Shiratori, cut off from time alongside the street, under the forever bright warmth of the sun, continued without end. Well, it's gotta end eventually. There's only so many words in the dictionary.
Maji, ほんと。どういうわけ？後宮さん。
In the end, I wasn't able to make a very good grade on my test. I thought I'd memorized things in my own way. But if you can manage anything by cramming all night like that, no one would worry about
あら
tests.
かじめ問題が分かってたら普通楽勝じゃない？楽勝。
さすがの私たちも空欄に答えまでは書き込みませんでしたわ。その程度はお勉強してくれると信じてましたから。
何これ？
Man, it must suck not being good on, like, taking
ちょっ
tests.
とマジこれ信じらんない。ほとんどダメじゃ
Like, it's one of
な
my
い。
skills where I don't really have to study. I just gotta pay attention. And, well, when I was in class, you know, I've been out of school for fucking almost a decade now. Christ. I'm feeling old. Yeah, no studying, just actually pay attention. Maybe jot down a note or two. Never really had to study them. And then come in, boom, like 85s to like 95s every
あ
time.
んた本当にちゃんと予習したわけ？
一応。
一応ってレベルじゃありませんことよ。ここまでひどいと私めまいすらしそうですわよ。おお神よ、こんな簡単なテストすら無残な成績を残し、
Well, when we're talking bad, like how bad
ク
we're
ラス
talking?
全体の平均点をガタ落ちさせる彼女をどうかお許しください。
Well, at least they're enjoying themselves. The same test had been given to another class first. They'd managed to get a hold of that test paper, so the average score for this test was unusually high, enough to obscure my slight improvement. However, there were some things that I couldn't make an excuse for. If I had spent that entire day studying like mad, I might have been able to get a slightly higher score. But I hadn't gone that far. Yeah, you're just playing Shiratori all day. After all, after that on that day, I had spent the time having fun playing Shiratori with the seven sisters, Sakutaro and One-chan. As expected, the winner had been Mori One-chan. She had been a strong player because of the various bits of random knowledge. Sakutaro had gotten the penalty. He had spent the whole time cheering for everyone else's answers. and had completely forgotten to think of any himself. Because of that, he got dogpiled by the Seven Sisters and had his ears thoroughly nibbled, didn't he? The horror.
ねえ、聞いてる後ろ宮さん。
Not really, she's just spacing out. They were surrounding me, twittering like small birds. Annoying, smelly. On the outside of that circle was Mammon, a weird expression on her face.
相変わらずおかしな学校ね。
Just want to stab him?
自分の成績が良かったなら万々歳じゃないの？
連帯責任とやらのせいでしょ。彼女らにとって自分の成績がどうこうじゃなくて、クラスの平均点が低くて恥ずかしい方が問
Only
題
as
なの。
strong as your weakest link.
あるいはその結果、罰則として与えられる奉仕活動が嫌で仕方ないのかもしれない。
それってつまり成績を良くしたいから勉強してるとかじゃなくて、連帯責任や奉仕活動が嫌だから勉強してるって意味？
I mean, it's fair motivation.
妬ましくて恥ずかしいのよ。誰かより劣りたくない。恥ずかしめられたくない。そんな気持ちだけが彼女らを勉強に駆り立ててる。
So wow, serious Leviathan. How unusual.
勉強がしたければ勝手にすればいいのに。
つまるところ、連帯責任も奉仕活動もなければ、彼女らは勉強などする気もないわけだ。勉強の意味も知らず勉強することの、なんと愚かしいことか。
When you're stuck in compulsory education and you have no choice, well, what can you do?
しかし本当にこいつらはうるさくてバカバカしい。エンジェ様の貴重な昼の一時を邪魔するなと言うのに。
こいつら嫌い。早くどっか行っちゃえ。お腹すいた。
Now's not the time. Well, it is lunchtime.
ごめんね、みんな。人間ってのはどうしてここまで浅ましいのかしらね。
自分で努力するより園児様に努力させる方が楽で強欲に平均点を稼げるってことでしょ。人間なんてみんな強欲、そしてより楽なようにそれを強いる。
Yep.
こいつらとはやがて煉獄の山で再会するわ。第五感を抜けるときはせいぜい己が足元に注意することね。
What, you gonna push him off? Batman controls the fifth terrace of the mountain that reaches to paradise, Mount Purgatory. Given that she herself was promising them this, we can probably be sure that after those girls die, their journey to heaven will not be an easy one. No, in fact, why don't they just go to hell? The class committee had appealed to the student council to use a classroom during lunch and after school. The purpose of use was for a class study group. A wonderful little gathering so that they can all collect around me and make me study. I'm overjoyed. Which meant that every day, I would have all my lunch and 3 hours of my afternoons stolen away from me. The Academy and its student council, with its motto of student self-government, instantly approved of this pleasant activity, and the students were taking up pleasant activity that the students were taking up of their own initiative. In other words, I would no longer be able to escape after school by leaving the classroom. After school, the first class study group meeting started right away. Would they open a textbook, then kindly and carefully explain so even I could understand it? Of course, it was nothing like that naive fantasy. After school in the classroom, around a dozen of my classmates crowded around my desk. First, before we started studying, why were my grades so bad? What was the reason? It was decided that we couldn't start until I could clearly answer those questions, become aware of the problem, and show remorse for my actions. Well, you were on the right track there until that last little bit. You know, to improve, you need to know where you're failing. Of course, there was no way I had an answer to a question like that. They had avoided me like the plague until now. and they had rejected me and kept me at a distance so as to not include me in their communities. So I had been avoiding their communities myself. There shouldn't have been any conflict between us that way. So even when they formed this community, intent on raising the class average, I obviously kept well away from it. Even if I had tried to join in, they would probably have ignored me, just like they had always done in the past.
言ってくれれば私たちいくらでも教えてあげたよ。ねえ。ねえ。
Such enthusiasm. I'd had enough of their ex post facto pretenses of charity.
後宮さんの悪いところはね、協調性がないところなのよ。自分さえ良ければいいって思ってる、その考えがいけないのよ。
Yeah, you're a little bit of lone wolf.
セールチーヤの学び屋に集う者は協調の心を持つように、ちゃんと生徒手帳にも明記されてましてよ。
協調性があればクラス全体に貢献するために一緒にお勉強しようという意思も生まれると思うの。
But also pretty hard when
そ
you
こ
know
こそ
you're
が
being
後宮
excluded.
さんにお勉強以前に欠けている部分だと思うんだけど、どう思うかしら？
ねえ、さっきから私たちの話を聞いてる？あなたのために私たちはわざわざ放課後に残ってこうしてお話ししているのよ。
Yeah, help me help you. The tears of gratitude are pouring down. Of course, they didn't like that. This way almost makes it look like we're bullying you, they scolded me. Fortunately, I'm normally all cried out anyway. If I'm told not to cry, I can hold it back. First, I was to write a letter of remorse and read it out loud. Of course, that meant today. The class president politely applied to the student council and the staff room for an extension on the use of the classroom. Apparently, it was accepted right away, which meant that, starting now, I would be forced into self-criticism here for at least a full 5 hours. I, Ushirmiya Anjay, caused trouble for my classmates by getting a low score on my tests.
違うでしょ？
成績が低くて迷惑をかけたってのは根本じゃないでしょ？
協調性でしょ、協調性。
もうなんで後宮さんの反省文の書き方まで私たちが指導しなくちゃならないのよ。
Their abusive jeers flew about one after another. I followed their guidance and put the eraser to it. I, Ushirmiya Anjay, caused trouble for my classmates by not having a cooperative attitude.
ねえ、ちょっと私たちが言ったのをそのまま書いても意味ないのよ。
Yeah, it's gotta come from the heart.
あんた反省って意味分かってんの？
Gotta reword it a little bit. It's like when you're using Wikipedia as your main source. You can't just copy verbatim.
自分の言葉で書かなくちゃ意味がないじゃない。自分の言葉で書かなくちゃ。
後宮さんってちょっと不思議な子だなって思ってたけど、やっぱり変わってるよね。
What a weirdo. Even following their guidance didn't change the jeers much. In fact, now it felt like they were mocking me more as well. In this way, over the following several hours, without rest, without being allowed to go to the bathroom, of course, without being permitted to have dinner, and while being continuously insulted, I was coerced into writing a document which humiliated myself. Man, isn't school so much fun? And as it passed 9 at night, I was told to stand up and read it aloud. The contents were smeared black with tears and eraser marks. It certainly was my handwriting, but it was like a list of soulless letters, whose contents I couldn't even remember. Everything had been copied down according to their guidance. So, while I had been the one to write the letters, they weren't my words. I was being coerced into writing it down, and even coerced into reading it aloud. I was surprised to find that even after all this time, in addition to ignoring someone and hiding their things, there were still other ways, like this, to bully people.
ほら、早く読み上げなさいよ。
後宮さんのためにこれだけの人間がこんなに遅くまで付き合ってるのよ。少しは感謝したら？
そこで感謝の気持ちが湧かないという時点で もう協調性がかけらほどもないのよね。
大丈夫よ後宮さん。これからは私たちがいつも一緒にいてあげるから。
Best friends forever.
一緒にお勉強して生まれ変わりましょうね。
Yeah, just become part of the Mean Girls group. Now, if you can't beat them, join them. Still surrounded by them, I stood from my seat and dropped my gaze towards the blackened page. And then, I began to speak those humiliating words. But right away, cheers flew at me, saying they couldn't hear and to speak up. I can't read this. I had no idea that being forced to read a paragraph humiliating me would be so painful. My throat shook, my fingertips shook, and the paragraph of humiliation written in my own handwriting made my eyes burn with a hot liquid. So, my world blurred and twisted. The girls surrounding me all appeared warped. I saw them warped into exactly the impression I had of them. In other words, this was the correct view. Beyond the twisted crowd of people, I could see my friends. Compassion could be seen in all of their eyes.
エンジェ、しっかり。ウリア。
Maria One-chan and Sakutaro were looking at me with sad eyes. Perhaps because they realized that even cheap words of compassion would hurt me. They kept alternating between trying to say something and hanging their heads.
何なのよこいつら。最低のやつら。腹渡が煮えくり返るわよ。エンジ様を寄ってたかってなぶり者にして何が楽しいわけ。
妬ましくても吐き出せないエンサ。誰でもいいのよ。吐き出せればね。最低のやつら。
エンジェ様、ここはご自身の名誉のために怒り狂うことが許される場面です。怒りは正当な感情で正当な反応。ここで怒らなかったらどこで怒るんですか。
やめなさいよ。安っぽくエンジェ様を怒らせないで。それができたらもうやってるわよエンジェ様は。
怒って状況が改善できるならそうすべきだ。だが客観的に判断して、それはますますに状況を悪化させるだけだろう。屈辱的だが今は耐えるのが賢明だ。
さすがベルフェネーは怠惰。ふざけないでよ。私は耐えられない。こいつらが許せない。
みんな騒がないで。エンジェの負担になっちゃうよ。
負担？何言ってんのよ。ここは騒ぐところでしょ。私たち家具は主が侮辱されているのを見て冷静でいられるほど残酷じゃない。エンジェ様、そんな侮辱の文章を読む義務はありません。怒りの声を上げられないならせめてその屈辱の文面を床に叩きつけて。口汚く罵らなくていい。のけぞらせるほどの大声を上げなくていい。ただ渾身の力でそのノートを床に叩きつけて、それだけのことでエンジェ様は強い意志を示すことができる。勝手なことを言わないで。言ってるでしょ。
Sometimes being irresponsible is fun, though.
それができるもんならエンジェ様だってとっくにやってる。
一時の感情の爆発は何も解決しない。むしろエンジェ様に対する風当たりを悪くするだけだとなぜわからん。
Yeah, but she like breaks someone's face in with a chair, maybe they'd think twice about doing it next time.
エンジェ様は悪くないのになんでこんな目に遭うの。夕飯も食べさせてもらえないで放課後からずっとこんななんて嫌。
今夜だけじゃないわ。今日も明日も明後日もいい加減にしてこんな屈辱耐えられない。ねえ、私たちの話本当に聞こえてる？
No, not really. She's having a conversation in her own head. Someone tugged at my hair. I was pulled back into miserable reality. I was no longer even permitted to listen to the seven sisters expressing my inner thoughts on my behalf. My hair was lifted upwards. One of my hair ornaments came off, and I heard it bounce, then roll on the ground. No one picked it up. On the contrary, they casually avoided it as though something filthy had come rolling towards them. Tried to follow with my eyes, but my hair was tugged upwards again.
なんで私たちがこんなに真剣に話してるのに、
Oh, come on, you
いつも
couldn't
聞い
even
て
have
ない
like
わけ
reach on a sprite with only one little bobble thing.
右の耳から左の耳ってやつ？それとも馬の耳に念仏かしら？あんたいい加減にしてよね。
私たち全員に迷惑かけてるって自覚本気であるの？私たちに言われてるからいやいや書いたとか言い出すんじゃないでしょうね。
あんたが本当に自分の意思で反省できるまでマジで終わんないからね。今日だけじゃないよ。明日も明後日もマジで続くからね。
Oh, how motivating.
あんまり舐めてんじゃないわよ。つーかさ、なんでまだ生きてんの？生きてられる？普通。私なら死んじゃうね。
生きてられないよね。だってさ、生きてるだけで
Yeah,
迷
man,
惑
it
かけて
must
るだ
suck
けで
to
し
be in
ょ。
that situation, huh?
私だったら絶対に生きてられない。
うんうん。私だったら死ぬね。その方が世の中のためになるならすぐにでも死んじゃうよ。
じゃあ死んでよ。
園児様、こいつら全員今すぐ殺してよ。あんたたち。ルシファー、聞こえた？
あんたたち煉獄の七
Just
姉
put it
妹
on
は
the coat. Just
人
put it
間
on
な
the
んか
trench
あっ
coat.
という間に皆殺しにできるすごい核なんでしょ。あんたらいつも私にそう自慢していたわ。ならやって、今すぐこいつらを皆殺しにして、今すぐこの場で。
それは
For some reason, Lucifer's speech faltered.
なんで？どうしてよ。目にも止まらぬ速度で飛び回って魔女の敵の心臓を即座に貫く必殺の家具でしょ。
What, did they not have that function when they're contracted to you?
そしてそれを主である私が命じてる。
Is that block behind the paywall?
今すぐ実行しなさい。殺してこいつらをみんな殺せ。園児様、どうか落ち着いて。
They had immediately followed my brutal order and left corpses strewn all around me. I would have been ready to rue my own reckless actions of stealing human lives so readily. I was ready to regret and feel remorse, just as they had wanted me to. I was prepared to go through that. And yet, Lucifer just let an unsure expression rise to her face and didn't move to carry out my order. I was aware. Of course I was. Vaguely. No, that's not it. I knew from the very beginning. I knew, didn't I? That magic was all empty. Yeah, that they can't actually do anything.
何が煉獄の七姉妹よ。くだらない。くだらない。私、最初から知ってたんだから。
園児様。
I glared into the worthless Lucifer's eyes, and it seemed that pain accompanied that stare. As though she had been struck by a horrendous headache, Lucifer clutched her head with both hands. But it looked like she couldn't tear her eyes off my glare. So the pain assaulting her grew more and more intense.
役立たずが、役立たずが。
あんたなんて大嫌い。消えてしまえ。あんたなんて所詮、私の中の妄想じゃない。
Hopelessness and disappointment, resignation and a dream's end. A cracking sound, like you hear from a frozen lake's surface during a fierce winter, rang out just once. Well, that's like glass. When like a lake surface cracks, it's more like a... It's more bassy, and more like a popping than a cracking. Simultaneously, Lucifer's form, tormented by violent pain, stiffened in place and grew cloudy. It's almost as though a beautifully polished glass window had been heartlessly smashed and turned white from the countless cracks. That was an accurate analogy. At some point, Lucifer's form had turned into a glass ornament of the same shape. Countless fissures ran through it from the inside, and the head and arms fell to pieces as it crumbled to the floor.
知女は誰？レビアタン？私の命令を実行して、今すぐにこいつらを皆殺しにして。
See, that's the thing. None of them can do anything.
そのヘンジェ様、どうかお気を沈めてお聞きください。
Yeah, like I was saying, nothing calms down a woman like telling her to calm
私
down.
たちはその
Wrong answer. I'm not looking for excuses or backtalk or a reply. I want nothing more than a swift confirmation of my order to eradicate the girls who are humiliating me. If I'm gonna say anything else, there's no need for me to listen until the end. After Leviathan turned white from the vast number of cracks throughout her whole body, frozen in a bent backwards pose, she toppled over, and her fragile neck, hips, and arms broke into separate parts. It would have been less brutal if they had just smashed to smithereens instead of retaining their original form. So the fact that I had left the two of them partially intact made the remaining younger sister shake even harder.
どうして私の命令を聞いてくれないの？どうしてよ！
恐れながら現在のこの場は反魔法力が
Yep.
非常に強く。
何よそれ？人間がいるからダメってどういう理屈？人間を殺すのがあんたたちの役目でしょ？
Well, you know, gotta have the right setting set, you know.
それができないならあんたたちは何の
Can't
た
just
め
do
の
it at the
核な
drop
の
of
よ！
a hat.
死ね！
お許しください。エンジェ様。
As she clutched her head with both arms, Satan also turned white and fell down face first. The neck really did seem to be the most fragile part. Her head broke off weightedly and rolled over to Belphegor's feet.
人間が多いからダメなの？じゃあ私が後でこいつらを一人ずつ物陰に呼び出せたなら、あんたたちはきっちり全員を血祭りにできるというの？
Maybe.
現在のエンジェ様の魔力では私たちと会話する程度はたやすいでしょう。しかしこの場にいる全ての人間の前で権限するにはまだまだ魔力の連成が足りません。お怒りは深く理解できますが、たとえ我らを攻撃に使えたとしてもこの場の全員を殺害することはかえって状況を悪くするだけです。屈辱的とは思いますが、どうかこの場は怒りを収められて。
Wrong answer.
あとの3人も同じ答えなの？反魔法力が高いからできないっていう？私に魔力が足りないからできないっていう？
Yes.
なら全員を殺せとは言わないわ。たった一人でいいから殺してみなさいよ。今すぐこの場で。
As Asmodeus and Beelzebub held each other, they crouched down, cringing in fear of my glare. If they had been able to obey my order, they probably would have carried it out immediately. And yet, here they were crouching down, empty, sad, and pathetic. That's right, I knew. These girls can't touch reality with even a single one of their fingers.
やだやだ、ベルゼ怖いよ。ベルゼ、エンジ様許してください、許してください。死にたくない。
死になさいよ、使えない家具。どうして生きてるの？あんた生きてる価値がないのになんで生きてるわけ？死ねばいいじゃん。死になさいよ。
No, she said please.
というかむしろ死ね。使い道のない家具を置いとくバカがいると思う？
やめてください。
Hey, Mammon, what's up?
何？マモン、あなただけは私の命令を遂行してくれるの？そうよね。私の一番のお友達だもんね。
Yeah,
あなただけ
totally.
はやってくれるわよね。こいつらを。
今のエンジ様には私たちを刺激しても人殺しはできません。 主にできることを手伝うのが家具の役目。主にすらできないことを私たちにはすることができない。園児様はこいつらが憎いですか？
Yeah, they kind of suck.
憎いですよね。殺したくなる気持ちよくわかります。ええ、どうぞ。ならば殺しましょうよ。
Alright, yeah, let's go.
園児様自らがその手を血に染めるならば、我ら煉獄の七姉妹どこまでもお供しましょうとも。
But you know, you
どこまでも。
gotta go first.
私にできないからあんたたちに頼んでるんでしょ。私にできないことをできるからあんたたちは家具なんでしょ。
ええ、家具です。使われてこそ家具です。どうぞ我らを使って殺してください。殺すのはあなたです。園児様、園児様が殺したいと言うならどうぞご自由に。ためらうことはありません。どうぞ今すぐにそれを実行を。
Gotta lead by example.
そこまでの覚悟が伴って初めて、自らの手を汚す覚悟があって初めて。でも園児様はそれに至っていないんです。
語るな家具が。妄想がもう分かってるわよ。皆まで言わせないでよ。あんたたちには何もできない。あんたたちは所詮私の妄想、幻想、アクチューム。私には初めから友達なんて一人もいないわ。
Maybe.
孤独な私が心の中に生み出したお友達ごっこの幻影でしょ。知ってたのよ最初っから。
ええ、そうですよ。園児様の頭の中の幻想ですけど何か。
Well, that's what magic is.
はい、そうです。私たちは友達のただ一人もいやしない。寂しい寂しい園児様の心を慰めるためだけに生み出されたお友達ごっこの脳内妄想ですが何か。見たければ現実を見るといい。私たちなんか見ないで、あそこで囲まれて罵声を浴びせられているあなたに戻るといい。ほらほら戻りなさいよ。お帰りなさいな現実に。
Yeah, which would you prefer? You know, being lonely and fucking your life sucking all alone, or being lonely and your life sucking with, you know, some other people
都
around?
合のいい時だけ私たちを呼び出してお友達ごっ
Pick
こ
your
で
poison.
自分の手を汚す覚悟もないくせにそれをけしかけ、ダメと分かったら否定して消し去る。ええ、どうぞお楽しみくださいよ。園児様が期待されるような苦悶の声と悲鳴を上げて退場しますとも。園児様がたった今浴びせられている罵声を私たちにも同じように浴びせかけて胸の内をスーッとさせるがいいです。それもまた家具の役目。ムカついて床に叩きつけられることもまた椅子の大事なお役目ですから。
This chair is an eyesore.
その程度の
This
ことで
chair, this chair, this
主
chair,
の
this
不
chair,
機
this
嫌を
chair.
一時でも受け止められたなら家具としてこれほどの栄誉はありません。殺しなさいよ。否定しなさいよ。あなたの最初で最後の友達を。
Do it! Do it now! At the end, Mammon had a derisive expression on her face. For some reason, the teardrops had scattered from her eyes. Mammon, Beelzebub, and Asmodeus smashed into pieces and rolled across the floor. Well, that was fun.
うりゅう
Yeah, that was a bit rough to watch, huh?
こっちへおいで作太郎。今の演者は少し冷静
Oh,
じゃないだ
a
け。
little?
だから
Just
近
a
寄っちゃ
smidge?
ダメだよ。みんなは
They'll get up eventually.
七姉妹のみんなは生きてるの？
Well, if furniture could be alive to begin with.
死んじゃったの？大丈夫だよ。とても無残な姿だけど、あれは人間界を強制退去させられて残されたよりしろの残滓、抜け殻だよ。だから大丈夫。
Gross.
とても傷ついただろうけど、無事だよ。
Well, if they just molted, that means they're all soft and squishy and like shiny.
みんな生きてるよ。
Back in the, you know, furniture dimension.
きっといつかまた会えるよ。ウリュ、よかった。よかった。エンジェはマリアージュ・ソルシエールの条約に違反した。同盟の魔女はお互いを敬い認め合わなくちゃならないのに、みんなエンジェの大切なお友。
そんな魔女の同盟なんて関係ない。魔法のお友達？いい加減にして。私が殺したわ。消し去った。
Momentarily.
私が7姉妹を砕け散らせた。
ウリュ、そんなのひどいよ。
もう魔女ごっこはいい加減にして。お願いだから、マリアお姉ちゃんもサク太郎も自ら消えてほしい。
Yeah, don't have the guts to do it yourself.
私が殺して消したなんて、
Mm-hmm.
妄想の中ですらしたくないから。
Even if it's not real, it would still hurt too much.
僕たちは妄想なんかじゃないよ。エンジェのお友達だよ。ウリュ。
Sakataro sobbed those words as he hid behind Maria Onechan. Sakataro doesn't exist. Sakataro is also a delusion Onechan created to distract herself from her loneliness.
ウリュ、痛い。痛いよ。マリア。なんで
Well, getting your existence denied probably, don't feel too good.
ウリュ。やめて。私のお友達を否定することだけは許さない。
The same power that had smashed the Seven Sisters was probably eating into Sakataro as well. But Ryone-chan was apparently protecting him with some other power. So, Sakataro's form didn't break or scatter. Ryone-chan glared at me sharply, a serious expression that she'd never shown me before.
サク太郎は私の家具。エンジェには消せないよ。なのに、否定しようとするのは魔女にとって最大級の侮蔑も同じだよ。
サク太郎なんて最初から存在しないわ。ただのライオン
That's just
の
like
ぬいぐるみ。
your opinion, man.
それをお姉ちゃんがあたかも存在するかのように脳内で妄想して人格化したただの幻なのよ。
そんなことないよ。サク太郎はマリアのお友達なの。元はぬいぐるみだけど、今はぬいぐるみじゃないの。
いいえ、
So
ぬい
you
ぐるみ
just
だわ。
standing here, having this talk inside your head when all your classmates are just, looking at you.
布と綿でできたぬいぐるみ。自ら喋れも動きもしない。お姉ちゃんはそれ
Well,
を
he's also got
腹話
like
術
a
みた
little
いにして
metal ring
喋っ
on
てる
his
だけ
tail.
じゃない。それが魔法？それが魔女？それが友達？
Have you ever seen a really good ventriloquist? There we go. It looks like magic.
そんなの
I couldn't do that.
私は認めないわ。
ウリュ、僕じゃないの。僕はただのぬいぐるみで、本当は喋れなくて、マリアのお友達じゃないの。ウリュ。
As though plagued by high fever, Sakataro weakened bit by bit. As he clung to Onechan's body, he did all he could to continue standing, but his body began to slip down bit by bit. As he did, Onechan held him and screamed at me as tears streamed down her face.
やめて。魔法の毒でサク太郎を焼かないで。いじめないで。侮辱しないで。否定しないで。マリアお姉ちゃん変なの。
Well, yeah, you're not wrong there.
サク太郎なんかいないよ。ぬいぐるみはぬいぐるみだもん。布と綿でできてるってママに習ったもん。歩いたり喋ったりなんかできるわけないよ。
Oh, kids, just telling it how it is with no filter.
無理。サク太郎、サク太郎、ぬいぐるみじゃないもん。ぬいぐるみじゃないもん。友達だもん。
What a weirdo.
ぬいぐるみ遊びなんかよりみんなでお外で遊ぶ方がいい。ぬいぐるみもう飽きた。返事なんかもう知らない。なんでそんなこと言うの。嫌い嫌い嫌い嫌い大嫌い。
Oh, not the big hate.
絶好だ。
もう魔女の仲間になんか入れてあげない。原初の魔女見習いマリアの名において魔女見
We're
習
now
いエンジ
stricken
ェ
from the
を
records.
マリアージュ・ソルシエール魔女同盟より署名とする。
And then, those tranquil days of mine, now merely a waking dream, came to an end. At this point, it's unverifiable. No one can verify whether that really was magic, and those really were my friends, or else whether it was all nothing more than a daydream. I, the sole observer, concluded that those girls were a figment of my imagination. So that became the truth. Perhaps, further in the future, I will observe it again, and when that happens, maybe I will acknowledge that it wasn't a dream. That the Seven Sisters really were my friends, and that along with Mirio Nei-chan and Sakataro, they did everything they could for me in my isolation. Something so vague is neither the truth nor even an illusion. Maybe the reality that's here and now is the only real world with the real me. Where is the real me? Good question. Person standing among the girls' shameful remains resembling broken glass sculptures, breathing harshly and shoulders heaving. That is not me. The place I am is over there. Hell yeah, good old disassociation. That's my go-to coping mechanism in stressful situations. The one boxed in by a crowd, the one being subjected to constant verbal abuse, the one hanging her head with clearly red eyes. The me over there. Isn't that the real me? I won't dream anymore. Because there's nowhere for me to run. I'll go back. I'll return myself to the cage made of flesh.
ねえ、話聞こえてますかしら？
No, not really. Could you say that all again?
いつまでもうつむいていても何の解決にもなりませんわよ。
聞こえてるわ。
ああ、やっと返事した。このまま黙ってれば終わるとか、泣けば許してもらえるとか、そういうこと考えてるんじゃないの？
I mean, you guys gotta go home eventually.
あんた、
So,
自
yeah.
覚あるかって聞いてるのよ。自分が周りに迷惑かけてるって自覚があるのかって聞いてんのよ。
I slowly nodded. I admitted it. I admitted that I'd been spending my time in a waking dreamland, trying to remain separate from the others in my class. Those friends who had spoken with me with such kind and hopeful words, yet who couldn't offer me any help at all now in the moment I truly wanted it. To move on from them and to sully them, I admitted it.
私、後宮エンジェは協調性がなくてクラスメートに迷惑をかけました。それは勉強ができないためクラスメート全体に対し過度の劣等感を持っていたからに他なりません。私は生きてても仕方ありません。
Starting there, I was no longer reading the paragraph they had written me. What did that say? They had made me write. Okay, there we go. I was about to say, whatever I just said, that was not proper words. It was my improvisation. And what was in my heart. They also noticed that it wasn't what they had anticipated, but while they did frown, no one spoke. So I continued.
そうです。
Yeah, this is her school shooter manifesto.
私は生きてても仕方がなかった。1986年のあの日に、またなのに、私だけが連れて行ってもらえなかった。どうして私はここにいるのでしょう。ここは私のいる世界じゃない。誰も助けてくれません。一時私の中に生まれた架空の友人たちだけが。でも友人たちは所詮は妄想で。
Which means now you gotta save
こ
yourself
こは妄
by
想の世界
taking
じ
a
ゃな
pen
く
and stabbing someone in the eye.
現実の世界だから。だからつまり私は今日までずっと白チュームを見続けてきたわけです。現実のクラスメートを嫌い、妄想の友人たちとの交流の中だけに生きた。その友人たちとはさっき決別し
Yep,
ました。
clean break, ready to live on in reality.
だから私がここにいます。家族もいません。友人も捨てました。もう私には何も残っていません。どうして死なないの？さっきそう聞いた人がいました。その通りだと思います。どうして私は生きてるん
Yeah, and
で
then
し
just
ょう？
standing there like, oh man, this kind of got a little more real than I expected.
1986年に私は死んでいるはずだったんです。いえ、きっと死んだんです。なのに私の殺された魂は未だにこの肉の檻に閉じ込められている。だから誰かに求めよう。
What, did you just kill me now?
それに誰も答えてくれないなら自分で死よう。誰か私を死なせてください。
I spoke that sentence and looked around. Dumbfounded girls, shocked girls, girls who looked like they didn't know what this kid was saying. And, after a small delay, more and more girls with faces that said, "Is this kid alright?" Whisper, whisper, mutter, mutter. And then, giggle, giggle. When I ordered my friend to my daydream to kill, they couldn't do it. And so, I asked real humans to kill, but of course, these girls can't do it either. In other words, both daydreams and reality are the same. Doesn't that mean that everything, absolutely everything, this world included, is all a daydream? Then, what's the problem? After all, on the day when I lost my entire family, I already died. All the days since have been the delusions of a wrongful survivor, delusions of a life flashing before my eyes. Once I understood that, I felt like all the scenery surrounding me began to twist and bend slightly. Ah, I'm finally going to wake up. I'm going to be released from this world of waking dreams. I felt my consciousness sliding away. That's alright. Fade further and further away, and take me to my family. Therefore, no matter what unfolded in this twisted, fated world, I paid it no mind at all. I saw the crowd getting pushed aside as a teacher stepped in. Perhaps the teacher doing the rounds happened to notice a strange disturbance. The teacher was vigorously shouting something, moving to protect me. Upon seeing that, and learning that an ally had appeared before me, even if only one, I felt my awareness return very slightly. The only ones who can save me in the real world are real humans. Never again will I seek salvation from daydreams. This is the human world. The only ones who can save a human are other humans.
そうだね。エンジェがそう思ったなら、それがエンジェの世界。エンジェはこれで幸せになれる。
Define happiness.
エンジェがそれでしか幸せになれないと信じたなら、もうそれしかない。カゴの中にいる青い鳥をそうだと認められないなら、どこまでも探しに行かざるを得ない。ウリュウ、マリアとエンジェはもう絶好なの？
It might be good to give her a little bit of space.
絶好なんかじゃないよ。エンジェがそれを求めたからそうしただけ。私たち魔女は時に迫害を受けるけれども、でも常にみんなの身近にある。そしてきっとその助けを求められる。エンジェもまた僕たちと遊んでくれる日が来る？
Maybe.
来ないで
Ball's in her court.
そのまま忘れてしまうこともあるかもしれない。 人の世ではそれを成長や決別と呼ぶから。でも
Yeah, you get old and you get sentimental. If Anjay just remembers, we will always be by her side. And until then, we will be waiting. And once again, a little bit of a short one, but you know, that took it out of me a little bit. I'm gonna go eat some more crackers and have some. I was about to say have some coffee, but coffee might be a little too hard. Maybe we'll make some tea instead. Maybe that'll make me feel good. So with that, that's where we're ending here for today. Once again, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell. See you next time for the next episode of Umineko, where hopefully it'll be a longer episode. Yeah, next time, even if it is like a little short, close to a little over an hour like it was today, I'll probably bump it up to maybe like a double part. So that way, you know, there's more substantial meat for to chew on and whatnot. So, catch you guys then. Later. Bye. Mwah.